Hello, Mary C. Williams friends. This is Miss Britt here. I wanted to review before I start your lesson. So Monday you did problem number 1 with me, and then you had to do number 2 and 3. And then Tuesday you completed number 4 with Miss Caldwell, and then you had to do 5 and 6 independently. I just wanted to review that we are simplifying fractions. So we are taking fractions and putting them in their simplest form. We are doing that by identifying the factors of the numerator and the denominator. And I do my factors like this typically, but today I'm going to do a couple like this and a couple using the big F, which is the method that Miss Caldwell likes to use. So you identify your factors, and then the greatest factor that they have in common, you are going to divide by that factor. So when we look at 4/12, we found out that they have 1 in common, but that doesn't matter. They have 2 in common, and they have 4 in common. So you want to pick the greatest common factor. So we're going to start, it's called the GCF, or the greatest common factor. So these are the factors that they have in common, and the greatest one, or the largest one that they have in common, was the 4. And so we divided by 4 with Miss Caldwell, and we found out that 4/12 divided by 4/4, because remember, when you're dividing by a fraction that has the numerator and the denominator the same, it's just like dividing by 1. So you end up with an equivalent fraction. So 4/12 divided by 4/4 equals 1/3. They are equivalent. So 4/12 and 1/3 are equivalent. Today, we are going to be working on page 98, and we're still doing simplest form. All right, so I'm going to review problem number 1 with you. I'm going to complete problems 2, 3, and 4. And then your job is to complete 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you have to show the work. You have to show whatever I'm doing is what you need to be doing in your work. All right, so let's go up here to 6/10. 6/10, the factors of 6 are 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. So we write it out. 1, 2, 3, 6. And then we do the factors of 10. 1 times 10 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. And in case you don't know that those are the only ones, you could keep going. 3, let me test 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. Nope. Let me test 4. 4, 8, 12. Nope. And I've already used 5, so that means those are all of my factors. 1, 2, 5, 10. And now I look at those factors and I find the factor they have in common, the greatest common factor, and that happens to be 2. So we are looking for the greatest common factor, or the GCF is what you'll hear it called when you're in 5th grade. So you're looking for the greatest common factor, and you're going to divide by it. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 6/10 and 3/5 are equivalent. I'm going to quickly prove that by using fraction bars. And you can see 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/10. So 3/5 and 6/10 are equivalent. All right, now let's get started on number 2. All right, first step, list the factors of 6. We're in luck because we've already listed the factors of 6, so I can just write them. 1, 2, 3, 6, okay? But now I need the factors of the denominator, which is 8, and I'm going to use the big F this time. We're looking for the factors of 8. We always know it's 1 times itself, which is 8. And then 8 is an even number, so it's going to be 2 times something. 2, 4, 6, 8. So 2 times 4. Let me test 3. 3, 6, 9. Nope, that doesn't work. And I've already used 4, so that means those are all of my factors. 1, comma, 2, comma, 4, comma, 8. All right, now we need to find the greatest common factor. Which one of these factors is the greatest one that they have in common? Absolutely, it is 2. So what are we going to do with that 2? Yes, divide. So I'm going to say 6 eighths divided by 2 halves equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that means 6/8 must be equivalent to 3/4. I have my fraction bar, so I'm going to prove it. Left one behind. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So 6/8 and 3/4 are equivalent. They begin and end at the same spot, so they are equivalent. All right, moving right along. Our next one is 5/5. Well, that seems kind of easy, right? When the numerator and the denominator are the same, then what does this fraction equal? Do you remember? Absolutely, it equals 1 whole. This fraction is just all fractions. All fractions are like saying divide. 5 divided by 5 equals 1 whole. So this fraction, anytime your numerator and your denominator are the same, then that fraction equals 1 in its simplest form. We can test it out. We can say, what are the factors of 5? The factors of 5 are 1 and 5. And again, 1 and 5. If I say 5/5 divided by, what's the greatest common factor? 5 and 5. Divided by 5/5 equals 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And here we are again. 1 over 1 is the same thing as 1 whole. So that one was super simple. So anytime your numerator and your denominator are the same, then that fraction equals 1 whole, and written in simplest form is just a 1. All right, just let me prove that one to you. Here we are. 1 whole fraction bar is the same thing as 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Perfect. All right, last one, my friends. We have 8/12. So we already have the factors of 8, so I can just rewrite those. 1, 2, 4, 8. And then we need the factors of 12. I'm going to do it my way and Miss Caldwell's way. I like to write it like this and say 1 times itself is 12. 2 times something, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 2 times 6. 3 times 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 times 4. And because these numbers are side by side, that tells me that I'm done. Those are all of the factors of 12. Now you could write it like a big F with your 12 at the bottom. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And then put your factors down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. A lot of factors. All right, let's look at what they have in common. They have 1 in common, but that doesn't matter. They have 2 in common, and they have 4 in common. Which one is the greatest common factor? The one that is the biggest that they have in common? Absolutely, 4. So we're going to say 8/12 divided by 4/4 equals 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that means 8/12 must be equivalent to 2/3. All right, let me prove it. 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12, 6/12, 7/12, 8/12, which is what we have here. And let me line it up. 1/3, 2/3 is equivalent to 2/3. All right, my friends, I hope that this video is helpful. Remember, you have to do problems 5, 6, 7, and 8. We want to see your factors. We want to see the greatest common factor that you're going to divide by, and we want to see your final answer. All right, thanks so much. Send us a picture through Class Dojo or on Google Classroom.